And we're live. Welcome, everyone. It's Friday. It's Friday here. It could be Saturday somewhere else, considering time zones. We all know about time zones. How's everyone? Man, it's been an interesting morning. I would say procrastinating morning. You know the term, right? Like I don't want to do anything. At the same time, I have a ton of stuff to do. So what do? I jump on the stream because why not? Hey, Ido EU. Hey, how are you? Ido EU. So I suspect that you're from the European Union. Could it be? I hope. Ibo EU. Hey, Tenzin. Hi. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Good, and you have a question. Let's go ahead. Fire off. Love questions. Hopefully I can answer. What is it? How can I help? How can I help today? So there are a few things I was. What gonna happen with Activision and Blizzard? Oh, you mean the gaming acquisition and all that? I saw a tweet the other day saying Microsoft is not going to handicap Call of Duty. My expectation is that all those games and all those capabilities will be integrated into Xbox Game Pass, I guess, and Game Pass. It was like PC Pass or Game Pass. They changed the name again, right? But to be honest, I don't know the strategy behind the acquisition, and I have no idea what the plan is. Trust me, the big heads, VPs, CVPs are looking at what they can do with that. But from my perspective as a consumer, I'm super excited. If I can get all that goodness for free, then it's great. Yeah. Are you a gamer? Are you worried about Activision going like what? I don't think they will disband the studios. I don't think they will stop making games because they are making money. I know there was a lot of cultural challenges with these organizations, and I'm hoping that we can help improve the whole stature around that and help create a better culture in these environments. But yeah, it's been a little bit toxic. I don't know too much about it. Yeah, I'm worried about if Activision Blizzard's gonna be broken. I don't know. I mean, Microsoft is pretty good lately. There's the disclaimer. Lately that we acquire companies and we help them grow and get better. GitHub is a great example, right? We acquired GitHub, what, 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago? And you'll notice that it's still acting as its a standalone entity. They are part of Microsoft, but very much the strategy is GitHub driven. And I suspect that it will be the same case for Activision and Blizzard. I don't think they will be broken up. But then again, it's my interpretation of what is going to happen. Totally mine. Do not take it as a gospel. And I'm not involved with the gaming team anymore, so I don't know what the xCloud team is thinking or anything else. As I said, from my perspective as a consumer, if I can play any Activision or Blizzard games online through my Game Pass and I don't have to install them or anything else, that is great. xCloud is the way forward for me. I don't know if you had a chance to use it or anyone has been fortunate enough to use it, but it's a game changer because you launch your browser, you attach your gamepad, and off you go. I was playing Minecraft and there was my favorite map and I loved it, but Microsoft deleted the whole world. Damn. No idea. I don't know why. Nakshatra. Did I pronounce that right? Hi, I'm good. How's everyone? It's Friday and I'm really not keen in doing any work. So I thought I will jump on the stream and force myself to do some work. How about that? Well, work. Hang out with you guys, have fun, talk about what you like to do, and then maybe write a little bit of code. I usually butcher names on stream, so the fact that I got your name right makes me extremely happy. I feel accomplished today, you know? I like checkbox, pronounce somebody's name correctly. Yeah, all these things. I had to do my tax return yesterday, spent like an hour at the tax office. Like there's a company that prepares the taxes for me because I don't want to touch these things and I have no idea what I'm doing. because I'm new to the country, so I let the specialists do the work for me. So they have designed a ton of documentation. My friends are having match games on Blizzard, but they stopped using Blizzard just because that Microsoft stopped it. Really? They stopped playing games because Microsoft bought it? What is the way to get into soft in Microsoft? As in getting to work for Microsoft? Is that your question, etc.? Like, how can you work for Microsoft? Clarify. And I'll go back to IBO and say, oh, security. SOC? Is that what it means? Security? Security, yeah. Okay. You need to bring some credentials, man. As in, you need to know what you're doing. You need to have some degree or some knowledge around security. Is my beard flying all over the place? Man. I did look in the mirror this morning. Hiya, guacamole. Oh, guacamole. See, I am getting better. Guacamole, right? That's a great name. Hi, thanks for joining us. As with everything else, you need to have the experience, or at least you need to have the knowledge around the topic, right? If it's security. And then security is very open-ended. I know about hardware security, cloud security, software security, infrastructure security. There's a whole lot. Can you help breaking down the path? Again, security is way too open. I've asked that question before in my head, like I wanted to go into security, and somehow I made it into security by working for identity. But yeah, for example, identity is one component of security, and we try to educate developers on how to write better, more secure software. But this is only a small component. They have like developer security, which is all about defensive coding and writing code that doesn't leak crap, and going over the OWASP top 10. And then you have things like DevSecOps, right? Securing your pipelines, taking dependencies, making sure that your open source packages do not come with any CVEs, making sure that your software is always updated. And then security guard, yeah, I like it. And then you have hardware security, TPMs and firmware and operating systems and low kernel security. So you're looking at very different things. Then you have cloud security. How do you bring apps into the cloud? How do you make them run securely? How do you ensure that there is the appropriate perimeter security, in-depth security? We also talk about passwordless. We also talk about zero trust. And then again, you need to know all about it. This is all transferable knowledge, so it's not just Microsoft. And then you also have other kind of security like threat modeling. And you can talk about software security, integration security. There's a lot. So yeah, this doesn't probably answer your question, and it's way too open-ended. But I don't know how I can help you there, because you need to pick your niche. What do you like to do? What really gets you excited when you talk about security? And then maybe I can help you find a path. And we do have a Microsoft Learn platform that helps you get into some of these concepts without having to pay any money or get certified for these things. And then you decide what you like to do, because you might not like software security, you might not like hardware security, you might like to do cloud security, and you can get jobs around that. Surprise stream bold, yes. I was procrastinating this morning, and I thought to myself, what a better way to force myself to do something than do a stream in front of everybody else. Does Microsoft use Docker for development? Hell yeah! We use Docker all over the place. Docker, Kubernetes, we have cloud solutions that support Dockerized or containerized apps. And then we have, .NET, for example, has been built with the whole premise of running in containers if you want to. Microservices and everything else. We do use Docker. There are a lot of shows on Microsoft Developer that talk about containerized apps and containerized architecture and microservices. So make sure to check this out. And also on YouTube. Oh, how does Docker work with Secretless Dev? Ooh, can you access your CLI tokens? not through Docker directly, but you can do it through Kubernetes. We do have integration for Kubernetes into Azure Active Directory, like the Azure AD pods. So there's a sidecar, and now they're integrating capabilities into AKS directly, so you can do that. Why Microsoft doesn't have a blockchain? We did have a blockchain service, if I remember correctly. But what would you like to build? Wagoning. And then we have more questions. So you guys signed up for the new license. Awesome. Does Microsoft use Docker? I don't know if the new license has been signed. I don't know who would have to sign the licensing for Docker, you mean? I guess. Is it possible to be in Microsoft game as a game tester? Yes. We do have game studios, Xbox Game Studio, and then we have also some other smaller subsidiaries. So there's definitely opportunity to get involved as a game tester if you want IBO. So that was a question from Hayden Zin. Sorry, I can't highlight these because not all of them are in the same channel. So we have two channels, remember, Microsoft Developer and the 45 Show. If you're on the 45 Show, I can highlight your question. For example, let's highlight, why does Microsoft not have blockchain? Do we not have a blockchain? I thought we had a service. I thought we had a blockchain and we had lots of, yeah, you want to build Web3 apps. That's absolutely fine. You know what? I'm gonna share my screen and let's see if we can find something. Do I not have, interesting. I'm not sharing my screen. Oh, I am sharing my screen. Yes, I am. So there, let's open a browser and see if we can find anything about Microsoft blockchain. Are you sure we don't have one? Microsoft blockchain service. Blockchain technology and applications. We do have a blockchain. See, I knew that. Getting started. It's in the right solution. I don't know if it uses the Ethereum. Oh, it is using the Ethereum networks. All your questions are answered. I will add the link here, and then you can go and play at your heart's content. Boom. And then .NET has support for Ethereum, so you can bring ledgers and decentralized transactions and all that goodness. There you go, wagoning. Okay, back to the Microsoft Developer. Docker started an enterprise license. That's a great question. I don't know. Have we signed it? I mean, if you are going to use Docker on Azure, we should have a license. So Docker Azure. Docker deployment on Azure. We definitely have Docker. And I suspect why you're using 10, why not 11? I am on 11. What are you talking about? This is 11. About Windows 11 Enterprise. Can I make it bigger? I can't zoom in, but that says Windows 11 21H2. It's fine. For some reason, there's a little bug in the latest version. So if see, there's like on the side for some reason. I need to change the display settings here. Thank you. Go here. Then I can change the resolution, maybe 150, and then it will fix this. Oh, it didn't fix it. Interesting. Oh, there you go. And I will just redraw the screen. It's fixed. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, see how it's fixed now? But it is Windows, and I like it in the middle. People went nuts about it. They didn't like the fact that it was in the middle of the taskbar in the middle. But if you use Mac OS, it's even easier to do the context changing and the mental switching. I'm happy with the middle stuff, and I use search all the time. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, we talked about a little bit about blockchain. It's like a Apple laptop. Yes and no. I am more of a Windows fanboy. I mean, I use a Mac. Fuck, my Mac. Where's my Mac? It's over here. I use a Mac all the time. So my MacBook is here, it's charged. It is joined. Fuel Snubble, go for Web 4. Yeah, why do Web 3 when you can go directly to Web 4? Skip past this decade. I don't know what you're gonna be building for Web 4 though, Fuel Snubble. It's like all AR, VR. There's a big push for AR, VR these days. You've noticed? I use Windows 18 hours a day for playing games, watching movies on YouTube and nothing else. Every day. 18 hours? You stay in front of your machine for 18 hours? Man, you need to go out a little bit and walk. I'm worried about you now. Too many hours in front of your PC. Fuel Snubble, tell me what you will build for Web 4. I'm really curious to hear about that. Every day, all day, Ibo, I feel you. Anyway, since JP here introduced me to the awesome theme of synthware, they broke it now. I'm on a red theme because of that. See, I actually added theme and I updated the theme bang onto the theme command. And I'm using the bearded theme, which is black and amethyst, which I love, by the way. Yeah, I know. Some of these things are maintained and some of these things are not maintained. Oh yeah, for people are asking which theme we're talking about, or they're wondering what the hell is this guy talking about. Command line, command prompt. I don't want command prompt. I wonder what will happen if I press command prompt. Will it default to Windows Terminal? It does default to Windows Terminal, but check this out. It actually opens the command line. Do you like my retro green thingy for my command line? It's like the Linux days, right? Like the early Unix days of might buy it. Let's say for argument's sake someone builds some disruptive in Azure that competes with MS. Will MS shut it down? Like a cloud service that uses our cloud service? Is that what you're saying? No. Because we don't have access to your data. Microsoft doesn't look at your data unless you ask them to look at your data. I know that other cloud companies' names will remain off air to protect the sensitive parties, but if you build an Office 365 on Azure, I suppose, like your own Office thing to compete with Office 365, go crazy, dude. I mean, there are all these different companies that operate on Microsoft's turf that for us, the important thing is that you use our services. That's why we even made so many things free, right? Developer tools are free, operating systems are free. Microsoft is trying to play nice with everyone. Well, you know, in the early days, we were like, let's compete with everyone. And like, you know, we won't let anyone run Office anywhere else. And then, you know, the mindset changed. Like, why fight them when you can work with them, right? So, you know, we took Office and we made it the first productivity app on iOS because it made sense for everyone to be able to use Office wherever they are with no limitations. Like something decentralized, but Azure, no really. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not at that level of the decision. So based on all the customers I've worked with, and that's hundreds of customers, you know, people are building new exciting things all the time. We don't really care what they're building. We care about how they use our services and whether they are secure. And yes, Bold, we play nice with everyone. That's the whole point. We provide a platform. You build whatever you want to build, even if that's a competing product. So Ibo says I work and come home, then play from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. because I like playing games. I like playing games as well, but I don't have time to play them, unfortunately. And that reminds me, I have to go and do some swimming today, and I really don't want to get wet. Man, doing triathlons, there's one thing, I need to write a blog post about it, but if you ever do triathlons, there's one thing that you need to be aware of. You're always wet. You're either sweating like a pig, I sweat like a pig, or you have to be in the water or do something else that involves water, so you're always wet. I like play from the Xbox. Nice. Game theory, yes. Gamifying stuff, go for it. And I know what you're talking about. But you know, even Microsoft does some pretty left field stuff out there. Like VS Code, they build VS Code to compete with our own products. And it's so successful. Sometimes you need that to bring innovation. In 17 years in playing games, watching movies and other stuff, 69,000 hours. Man, is there a World Guinness record for such a thing? I'm not good at gaming. I suck. So I always play just for leisure. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. If Phil Snubble, you're right. If the scenario is unrealistic, like building a product that competes with Microsoft, but at the same time, if Microsoft did that, then everyone would have bound Azure. I don't know about that. Vicop Dev, hi. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, friends. Phil Snubble says, I stopped playing World of Warcraft, but I don't dare to think how much I played. Yeah, you know what? There was a phase in my life, and I abandoned everything, and I was just playing Age of Empires. There was, back in the day, we did LAN parties. You younglings won't understand the struggle, but while I was at university and we didn't have really good internet, in fact, we had modems. We set up a LAN on our dorm, so there were cables going all over the place, under doors, over windows, going outside buildings and stuff. And then I work at Microsoft. Yeah. Do you think they will let people from like outside of Microsoft just come to the Microsoft developer channel and stream? We usually host people like that, but I don't think they have the right to run their own streams. So I'm very fortunate to work for Microsoft. Thanks for asking. Do you have a free version of Azure for individual for testing or practicing? Oh, you mean Azure? Like Azure, the cloud Azure? I hope you mean Azure. Is it it? Amazon competes with its customers, right? I said I'm not gonna name names, but there are other providers out there that do that. The salary remain anonymous. Yeah, sorry for the typo, no worries. Yeah, we do have a free Azure version. That's a very good question. Thank you for raising that. So if you go into, in fact, everywhere you go, on every single page on Azure, you will see this green button that says free account. And you get $200 to start with, and you have 300 days to use it. But after that, you get over 40 services for free forever. Now, you do need a credit card for it, but the credit card is only used to verify that you are who you say you are. Identity, anyone? Yeah. And that's the whole reason. You can put a stop, or you can put a limit on your subscription to say, I only want to spend $1 a month. So if it ever goes above $1, the service is just shut down. So you can put a limit on your pay-as-you-go, so you don't have to pay anything. And if you make a mistake, you don't want to do that. And you haven't claimed free credits 300 times over. That's true. You can only use one credit card in one account combination. So if you have a Gmail account or an MSA account, an Outlook account, Hotmail, whatever, or Yahoo. Is Yahoo still around? Is Yahoo email still a service? It must be. What happens is you can only register with that account once, and then you can only use a specific credit card once. So Bold is absolutely right. Thank you for chiming in. You don't want to do that. So there's free services out there. And in fact, there's a ton of free services. We like to play a lot with Azure App Service and Azure Functions because we are developers, but you can see there's like Azure Kubernetes Service, and there are VMs as well, and Azure Functions and all these things. But this is all you get. So you can get an Azure VM to play with, and SQL databases and blob storage. Even Cosmos now has a dev version that you get for free. 1,000 request units per second. That's a lot of requests. You can build some hefty apps. It can be a debit card, yeah. I think it can be a debit card. I think it's just used to validate. It doesn't have to be a credit card. Like, I haven't done a registration for a pay-as-you-go account in forever. Or you can join the awesome hackathons and win some free Azure credits, says Bolt, who is absolutely right. We just did a hackathon this past month, and the winners are getting some Azure credits. We'll be probably doing some giveaways as well, because I do have some spare Azure credits. Rock on to help out. So there might be giveaways in the coming streams. And yeah, you also get a free Azure AD for free. And that is a nice offer as well. So if you go to aka.ms 425 show Then dev environments. It's definitely not dev env. It's I won't give it to me now. So Microsoft. I can't type today. 365 developer program, and I don't want that. I definitely don't want that. There, not my work account. I think you can use a debit card, etc. So this one also gives you free Azure AD. Yeah, I feel Snapple. I'm not going to go too much into that one, but you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter which cloud provider you're using. You can make some serious mistakes and get super charged, as in you can get charged for a lot of money if you let it run. There was actually a very interesting blog post by Troy Hunt. You guys know Troy Hunt? Do you follow Troy? For my security friend on the Microsoft Developer channel, I would urge you to check Troy Hunt. And there was a blog post. I don't know if that's the latest one. Weekly update. If you're doing weekly updates. Yeah, how I got pawned by my cloud costs. So what happened is Cloudflare changed some settings, and there was an insane egress charge for his website, which was about $6,500 for 1 month, because you can download dumps of owned accounts or pawn accounts from his website, and there are people like the FBI or organizations like the FBI that hammer his service. So there's a lot of egress traffic coming out, and what happened is Cloudflare was not caching that data anymore because they exceeded a specific file size. Yeah, 5,000 UAD, Australian dollars. I think what happened is he had a limit on his caching files of up to 15 gigabytes or 1.5 gigabytes. Let me see, I can't remember. 15 gigabytes, yeah, there you go. So his data started growing, and he totally forgot about that rule. And what happened is Cloudflare stopped caching data that was, or files that were over 15 gigabytes. And any request that was coming in was going directly into his storage account and then pulling it out, and therefore creating more and more and more charges. It took him a while. Now, there are two things that you can do with any cloud provider. I'm pretty sure they have similar services. One of them is to monitor your platform at all times. Have a report, have a Power BI dashboard, use the tools like the costing dashboard on the portal to tell you what's happening. Secondly, create alerts. I think that's one of the lessons here for him, which was once he fixed the caching issue, he went back into Azure and he added Azure Monitor alerts to get triggered when something happens. And therefore, he could actually stay on top of things, so he didn't have to go back into, yeah, you're absolutely right, Phil Snabel. I will highlight that because this is the mantra. Alerts are kings. You need to alert stuff. In the same way that you need to, lock things down, as in lock resource groups, things that are important in production, put locks on them, put policies on them, and force things to happen automatically, because as humans, we all make mistakes. So Zach on YouTube says definitely didn't have a budget set up to alert him quickly. Exactly, he didn't have a budget. You're absolutely right, Zach. He did set up the alert afterwards, which means that he did it after the fact. But he did also say at the end that I hope that my lesson helps other people to learn from my mistakes. Funny story on that. I did see it on Twitter, and that's why I jumped onto this blog post. I think Cloudflare and Scott Guthrie, the Azure CDO, is he the Azure CDO? I think he's the Azure CDO. Half the cost. So in the end, Troy didn't have to pay anything, but not everyone is at Troy's status, as well known, and therefore I would say, set up your alerts, set up your infrastructure, set up your logs, and make sure you don't make the same mistake. Whichever service provider you use. Yeah, we would all have to pay, my friend. We would all have to pay. Now, luckily, I use internal subscriptions, but they do still get flagged up if the cost exceeds a certain threshold. So even though we have internal subscriptions that are covered for demos and labs and customer work, we also get, and there's accountability. So our manager will get flagged if we spend $15,000 on a project, and then it keeps burning cash because it's still compute that somebody else could be using, right? A free tier should be set up automatically. Yeah, I know. But in some cases, it's educational, right? Educate yourselves around Azure Monitor and around Azure policies. They're very, very important. You could never be angry at either of you. Either of me and who else? Who are you talking about? Hannah. Hannah? Where's Hannah? Is Hannah in the conversation? I am so confused. Bolt, what are you talking about? Could never be angry at either of you. Okay. Yes, so Azure is like electricity marked up. Hannah was my manager? No. Todd is my manager. Hannah works with us. You mean Todd would never be upset with me? Well, trust me, I can get him upset. I just need to buy new hardware. Like this also neon sign back there, which I expensed. No, Hannah works with us. Hannah is our right hand in everything we do, so we wouldn't be here without Hannah. It's fine. I mean, so many people. Marvelous, hey there, how are you? Welcome to the chat. It's a chill chat today. We're talking about all things cloud and technology and stuff, but we might get some time to write some code. There were two things that I wanted to look at today. Maybe even, I'm good, thank you. I am procrastinating from doing any real work, so I stream. Is streaming real work? Does it count? It's education, right? I am Greek. Are you Greek as well? I am Greek and Scottish, too. Double citizenship, how about that? Also, can we get a Twitch chat war over? Oh my God, do not. Theoria, I know, it's nice. I haven't even used it. Is it QR code based? We can make a QR code for this. Yeah, we can make a QR code for this, absolutely. So there has been heated conversation. How long have I been at Microsoft? I've been at Microsoft for 5.5 years, and I do have this beautiful crystal. You get it 5 years. Yeah, and yeah, 5 years. Time flies by when you have fun wagoning. So for my .NET friends, there's been a heated debate about the double bang, which, if I remember correctly, I haven't even seen what this is, because all I can do is just dig myself into, put it next to the Oscars. Yeah, for worst performance. They used to do raspberries or something, which is the opposite of Oscars for the worst. You've been at Microsoft for 5 years, wagoning? Or are you talking about the double bang? .NET. Where is that? Is that conversation taking place on GitHub? New language features, bang bang, .NET. I don't know if that's, is that, where am I gonna find that? What's new in the .NET framework? Is that it? January 14th? Maybe that's here. Oh, that's that's the full framework. Don't want that. Just Twitter? Is the conversation only taking place on Twitter? I did comment on one of them. So this is a new, Marvelous says, I have Greek friends and they have similar accent. Yeah, I know. I can't get rid of my accent, but at the same time, do I want to get rid of that accent? So hard to search on, I think. Yeah, double might be a stopwatch in search engines. Can we maybe put it into What's new? That's for C# 11. Is that C# 11? It is, right? Let's see. We can. There's definitely. Why is Mercedes coming up as a C# feature? It's good to have an accent. Says leaked C# 11 features. Let's see. God, how can it be leaked? It's been developed in the open. Do you use Dork just now? What is Dork? God, there's so many things I don't know. Easy to learn. Where are the features? Like global generic attributes? No. Somewhere in here maybe? No, it's not here. Phil Snubble, how are we gonna have a fight if we can't find the article that you mentioned? I don't think Twitter is a good place to search for this. .NET leaked. Is that just a copy pasta of the previous article? Why do people do this? That's bad. I'm using Chromium Edge as my main browser. Error raising. List patterns, C#. I don't see it. Will C#? Is it maybe on GitHub? Could be on GitHub, but then again, I need the feature for this. So anyway, this is a new language feature. This is a new capability, right? We evolve the language all the time. It's like a spoken language where new things are added all the time. And people are saying that by adding a feature like a double bang, it will cause for people to write less readable code and will make them to look it up. Writing obtuse, hard to read code. It's easy to do with .NET 1, right? Or C# versions of 2003, 2004, 2005. I've seen horrendous code and I've seen extremely readable code in my 17 years developing. You found it. Thank you, Phil Snubble. I will open this page now and then share it with the rest of the world. There you go. Initial rollout of double bang. So in effect, it has implement the parameter null checking feature double bang, which lets us replace this if argument is null with this. Okay. So you pass the object arg, and then if it's not null, you execute, right? This pass blah. Throwing manual A&E, throwing with where possible, and argument null exception if where isn't possible, but the method call is. In case we're using double bang, would have changed the exception order. I avoided doing so in almost all cases, okay? And then the conversation jumps in. Okay, there's a lot of review, and I suspect that further down people just freak out. Okay, about the confused emoji. Uh-oh. What? How dare to be confused? Art looks like frustration. It does. Does anybody have objections about arrow functions, local functions? These are all things that you can complain about. Data snokey. Did I pronounce that right? Am I getting there? Even Scott Hansman chimes in on it. Oh, we got Scott in here. Let's see. Hansman. I don't see Hansman here. What's his alias? SH. Yep, I don't see Hansman here. Oh, the link I sent. He's on Twitter. Okay, so Hansman talked about it on Twitter. My personal opinion, you can write awful code. You can write some really readable code with new or old features. If you are going to use a new bank, maybe for the first few months until people get up to speed, you can explain why you're doing it like that instead of a null check. I mean, it doesn't make like, if you look at the original code, this, and then you read this, if you know what this is, then mentally you translate it to that. If you don't, you have to look it up, right? Maybe making search better will help with new features, but there are certain things that have been added to the language in the last 5 years, and I don't think I had the chance to use all of them. Now, mind you, I don't write that much code these days or on a daily basis, and maybe that's the issue, but at the same time, I can still write the code I was writing in 2007 and it will absolutely compile and run. Will it be more lines of code? Yes. We're not getting paid by the lines of code, so I don't mind. There are many things to have to look up, so I'm not so worried over that. That's true. Feels snubble. These days we have to look up things all the time as we write code, so having to do an extra lookup. And then once you know what this means, and the fact that it doesn't change the order or behavior of the older, more declarative code to the new one with a double bang, I think it's just a matter of preference how you use it. So from my perspective, I think things evolve, and I'm always surprised that we as developers that always work with the latest and greatest, like new operating systems, new APIs, new SDKs, always get upset when the cheese gets moved. We have to continuously learn and stay up to date. Is it the amount of information that we have to learn that is frustrating to people? Or is it the fact that we move the cheese all the time and therefore they can't settle? Like I remember back in early 2000s, we had to wait for 3 years for the new .NET framework to come around. People don't like change. Unfortunately, these are the people who fall behind. Exactly. Like I did a comparison on Twitter and like, dude, you shouldn't be using this metaphor because it doesn't apply to everything. Change is inevitable, whether you like it or not. The question is, how adaptable are you? And so Scott Hanselman will fall behind. He didn't like it. It is a learning career. You cannot stop. I highly doubt that Scott Hanselman will fall behind. He might not use the feature, but he did. Okay, so you're just messing with me. Hey, he might not use the feature, but it doesn't mean that he's against it or he doesn't like it. And the fact that it's been discussed out in the open is great, because in the past we would just go like, this is what Microsoft thinks we should be doing, and everybody would just have to follow along. Now at least it's been discussed, and there might be change direction, I don't know. But from my perspective, what makes software engineering and programming exciting is the fact that we have to continuously learn. It's not for everyone, right? If you're in for the money, if you're 9 to 5, I want to just go open shop, write some code, and then go home, then it might be okay for a few years, but you're gonna fall behind. You have to keep on learning. Like there's a ton of stuff I have on my to-do list to learn, and then I have to just pick and choose what is more appropriate and what is more pertinent to what I'm doing. So like I really want to learn Kubernetes, and I really want to learn how to go deep into Docker. I can play around with Docker, I can deploy to an AKS, but do I really understand it? No. Do I want to understand it? Yes. Do I have enough time to spend on that? No. Because I also want to look at security. I also want to look at, getting even deeper with identity, understanding everything that is coming out there, and then help you learn as we learn together. So it's always changing. It's always exciting. It's just finding enough time to learn new things and prioritize. He's not going to fall behind. Too many shift and top row number stuff. Token soup. I like the new stuff. Says feels snubble because it asks a question. This is just a weird shorthand. Yeah. We're running out of characters that we can use for certain things, right? It's not even saving you much time. IntelliCode will auto prompt you to enter null argument check or just control plus. Yeah, that's right. That's a good one. The problem I have is that I have too many things I want to learn. Hey, welcome to first world problems. We have so many things that we need to learn that it's just a matter of prioritizing what is more important. I can't seem to get into Kubernetes after Service Fabric. Are you afraid that it's going to be taken away like Service Fabric? wagoning. That's a great observation. But Service Fabric was proprietary. It was ahead of its time, like really ahead of its time. But it was Microsoft proprietary. Kubernetes is adopted by the wider community, so it's definitely a transferable skill. I'm just waiting for a few more years so I don't have to learn any. You know what? You're not wrong here. We already have app container service on Azure. Well, Service Fabric is open source, but we did create it first for us. Like Microsoft built Service Fabric to run its infrastructure on Azure. It will just be part of every cloud provider as a service. Yeah, eventually you will have dump my containers, give me so many instances, and you do your own thing. I don't want to manage with orchestration, security, and other stuff other than declaring what can access what and how. Kubernetes is also from Google. It is, but it got adopted, like it got wider adoption from the industry. Unlike Service Fabric, which we tried to push and then nobody wanted to do that because it was competing at the same time with all these other different technologies that were out there. And eventually, so it was like the VHS wars or the Blu-ray CD. Kubernetes is fun, YAML isn't. Yes, preach, I agree. YAML is not fun. Again, there is tooling there to support working with YAML. There was a very interesting conversation maybe a few months ago with Donovan Brown on Twitter where he realized that YAML is actually JSON. So you can write JSON inside YAML and it will compile absolutely fine and run. You did not hear that from me. Please do not do that. I mean, you can, but it will break things. You should try XML. You know, Bolt is forever scarred by B2C policies and XML. Yeah, unpopular opinion, I despise JSON. I don't know, man. Like there needs to be something that we can work with, right? Eventually, you have JSON, XML, and YAML. Is there a better format? Like, should we just use text files? I like YAML better. Oh, okay. You guys are at it this morning. Toml? Oh, come on. Like, I don't know if that entitles you for a ban. Fuel Snubble. Or is that a question? Are you recommending Toml or are you asking if Toml is the other option? Because if you're recommending it, I might consider a ban for you for a day. I'm just kidding. I don't want to ban anyone. I'm enjoying the conversation way too much. I have many customers still using Service Fabric. That's absolutely right. We still have lots of people using Service Fabric. Some people swear by Toml, and some people swear by XML, and some people swear by YAML and JSON. I like JSON. What I hate doing with JSON, and maybe I'm the only one over here, it's actually generating classes from JSON. But thank God there's tooling for that as well, especially in gaming and finance. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, Service Fabric is a fantastic orchestration tool. Plus, it was able to run like full Windows containers, right? Even before Kubernetes was ever able to do anything. JSON doesn't have comments though, and it's kind of important config language. Yeah, I know. It just freaks out when you put comments. I mean, you can put comments, but it's like, it complains. So all text editors complain about JSON. I know many parsers that support, but it's not JSON then. Yeah, it's something else. True. It is not. Now, I have to give you a forewarning that I won't have too much time today to stream other stuff. Just create a JSON element for the comment. But this is not XML, you can't do that. But yeah, you could. But then yes, you have to render it somehow and compile it, and it doesn't feel right. So I have to wrap up the stream at 12 because we're interviewing people for Microsoft in general, and Microsoft interviews come first. It's crazy, right? You can be called to interview somebody in some other team or some other even division if they don't have enough people. And today I'm doing an interview on behalf of Shannon because Shannon's on holiday and she's enjoying her time off. Man, I need to take that comment down. It will burn into. Where's my hide message from stream? Okay. So yeah, I'll be stopping the stream in about 5 minutes and we can raid somebody else. But for next time, there are a couple of things I wanted to... the people are still going on YAML. YAML spec is impossible to understand. It's just spaces. Fuel Snapple is just spaces. Just put spaces. If you're unsure, just put spaces. Isn't it interesting that GitHub Actions actually ended up using YAML for everything, which is always a pain when you miss something out and you have to re-upload and rerun, but it's part of the job, I guess. Right, next week, 2 things. One is we need to continue building our 4 to 5 show website, right? We started last week, we did some progress. We are rebuilding what were we using? Gatsby. We're rebuilding the Gatsby website using .NET, ASP.NET, and Azure Pages, which I love. And we made really good progress. Oh, okay. And that was the one I wanted to look at. We did do MFA with Microsoft Authenticator last week, which was great. You should definitely catch up on that video. And then there were a couple of things I wanted to look at, but the very top thing that comes in my mind is Azure Signal R managed identity. As identity. Is it trigger? Extension. Azure Functions. Azure Functions. Which I was very excited about. Yeah, it was announced very recently. Introducing Azure Identity Support in the Azure Functions Signal R extension beta. So before I continue, Alextator GR. Okay. Hello. Do you have any channel website recommendations for someone looking to get started into programming? That is a great question. Like Microsoft has its own stuff. The Microsoft Learn website. But I need to ask, what kind of language do you want to get started with? Is it general programming? Like, do you want to understand about programming? Everything? From scratch, you haven't done it before, you want to learn? Is that it? Because there is Code Academy. Is it Code Academy on YouTube? There's Code Academy on YouTube, which is, I think most people swear by it. Never used it. I'm looking to get into data analysis, I think Python and SQL. Well, I think Code Academy is using Python for most of its stuff. So there you go. Code Academy is one. And then there is it Princeton University that has like a Microsoft 101? Sorry, not Microsoft. It has Programming 101. Is it Princeton University? Can't remember. I think I saw that somewhere. Clean Coders, not that one. Definitely not that one. Does anybody know? How do you learn to code if you only have a mobile phone? I use code spaces on GitHub. Is that an actual question? Like learning how to code on the mobile phone? There are apps out there that allow you to play around with syntax, and it will ask you questions about things. Python. Getting started with Python. Let's see. Python for beginners. Installing, learning. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna be a little bit of a deep dive because you need to understand certain. Yeah, you know what? I figured out wagoning because I know that in Africa a lot of people have phones, but I don't own PCs. Right, give me a second. I'm just thinking. I think this one might be a little bit too much to get started with if you don't know basic terminology around computing. Are you completely new? Okay, Python for non-programmers. There you go. And they also have print versions. I like that. Like you can learn from the website. So many things to learn. Kaggle is nice. Yeah, it's like free code. Oh, free code camp. Yes, that might have been it. Honestly, I went to university to learn, and therefore I had a very different path in learning. I only recently came across Microsoft Extensions Azure package, which works a treat with setting up resources with mass identity. You're absolutely right, Bolt. We're gonna test the. Yeah, sorry, Marvelous. We cannot accept links from external contributors. I don't have access to change that on the Microsoft Developer channel. Apologies for it. But if you jump on the 45 show channel, you can put the links there, and then I can promote them from the chat. Yeah, there should be plenty of resources, and all of them should be free. Like I wouldn't pay money today to learn programming. There are a lot of entry-level camps and boot camps and everything else that can get you started, and at least put you in the right path. And then as you progress, you can think about investing some money in learning more. You don't have to go through university these days. There's a lot of free resources out there. And maybe get a mentor in the Python community to help you out. Funny story, I'm actually writing a Python course with the Talk Python team to add identity in their fast APIs. It should be coming out soon, but we're wrapping up the content there. Thanks for following, everyone. Really appreciate your follows. And Data Snooky and Alex Tator GR, we appreciate your continued support. Now, let's see who's actually streaming right now, so we can rate them. And next week, we're gonna be looking at the Azure Function stuff, as I said, because we have to extend the Microsoft website, not the Microsoft, the 45 Show website. Man, I don't even have access to the Microsoft website. The 45 Show website to get some triggered events from SignalR into our app to update whether the Twitch channel is live or not. So you can see us either live or jump on the stream here and watch it. And the 45 Show website is here, 45show.dev. That's our website. We're building this beauty over here to make it more .NET friendly. And in fact, I hate Gatsby. There's like a million files and so much code there. Hope the interview goes well. I'm interviewing, not getting interviewed. It's been a while since I interviewed. Have a nice weekend, everyone. I appreciate that. And I will see you all next week, but don't go yet because we are going to raid some of our good friends. Let's see who's out there. Twitch.tv. Any of our friends streaming right now? Primigen is good. Microsoft Developer is there. Oh, Clark.io is streaming. I always like to watch Clark.io. So, is he doing any gaming though? Oh, he's doing Node.js. Awesome. You guys want to see some Node.js stuff? I think that's a yes. Cool. Let's do that. Let's rate our friend Clark because it's been, he left Microsoft, but it's still a good friend, right? Yeah, thanks Wagoning. Thanks for the chat, I appreciate that. Let's start the raid. And here as well. Everyone, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Thanks for chatting with me today. It was fun. Spent an hour with you. It's always great. Bye. Where are my windows? There you go. There they are. Too many windows.